Hi, this is the voice of Heidie Calero with another economic capsule on the Puerto Rico economy. Don't forget to go to YouTube and there's a little bell there. Just give it a pulse so that you receive notifications when we have new analysis, and give us a like if you like our topics. Today we are going to talk about a very important topic, which is all the ports in Puerto Rico. A lot of the merchandise that comes to Puerto Rico comes either by air, but mostly seaborne. So definitely the ports are an important and integral part of the island. Notice here there are 10 major ports, and they are in the northern part of the island. 3 of them are in the San Juan municipality, and another one in Arecibo. There's another one in the east coast, Fajardo, another one in Vieques, that's the small island which is off Puerto Rico. There's Yabucoa, and in the southern part of the island there are 3 in Guayama, in Peñuelas, that's used to be where the petrochemical complex used to be. No longer a petrochemical complex, but there's still, and close to it, it's Ponce, and then in Guanica, the other port. So what is happening with all this ocean-bound maritime? Most of it comes from the U.S., so it's going to be in U.S. ships, and there are major companies in Puerto Rico, especially Luis Ayala Colon and Tote. They formed a society or a partnership, and they are now called the Puerto Nuevo Terminals, and they have announced an increase in these rates, especially the freight rates. But let me show you what has been happening in terms of inflation in Puerto Rico, because these segments, in fact, all of the inflation in Puerto Rico is going to be impacted by these proposed increases, which are no longer proposed. They are effective this month, March 2021. The bars are the inflation as per the Department of Labor in terms of the Consumer Price Index, and they are on a fiscal year basis, July 1st through June 30 of each fiscal year from 2010 through 2020. And notice that it's been very mild, 1%, 0%, 1%, and 0% in 2019, 2020. I don't know you, but when I go to the supermarket, it doesn't look like it's going to be 0%, but I give you the official figures. And then you have this orange line, which is the component of that consumer price index related to food which we buy, the produce that we buy in the supermarkets. This is not the one that you buy in the restaurants. This is the one that you buy in the markets, in the supermarkets, in the chain stores. And these have been a little bit higher than the consumer price index, 3%, even here almost 3.5%, when the overall index in 2016 was 0%. And now it also, the Department of Labor has told us that it was 0% as well in 2020, the last fiscal year. And then this gray line that you see here, that's transport. That reflects the price of automobiles using this survey that the Department of Labor does, and it's a survey of households. So notice that they have been even higher at almost 8%. And now it's negative 9%. Would you believe it? All these, the sale of new automobiles in Puerto Rico again has regained record levels. It's been a long time since Puerto Rico was selling like 10,000 monthly new units, and now they have been doing that. So the car dealers are in really a bountiful time, and that's all related to all these fiscal reliefs and federal stimulus monies that have come. And since Puerto Rico is such a consumer really mecca, we do not save, we spend as much as possible. So it seems that after Hurricane Maria in September 2017, most of the cars in Puerto Rico must have either been flooded or damaged. So all these new sales have come to, and good for the car dealers, but not good enough for the Puerto Rico economy. We need production and not just consumption. And notice here the increases that are effective now as of March, announced by Puerto Nuevo Terminal, and these affects most of the containers, the merchandise that comes through the containers. Security, that's all the safety that comes guarding all these containers in the ports. 75% increase. To unload the container from the ship, it's 50%. Those containers that are loaded to the truck, the chassis of the truck, that's 40% increase. If they're going to be dispatched off regular hours, it's going to be a 33% increase. And overall, per container, it's an increase of 30%. So brace yourself, because this is going to be passed on to us consumers without any modesty at all. So you can expect increases in food, increases in merchandise, increase in cars overall. And it really begs the question, well, why is it that Puerto Rico is having such great increases? True, Puerto Nuevo terminals that say that they have not increased their rates in many years, and that now they are increasing these rates after almost 12 years. Notwithstanding, international freights have not increased that much. Most of this merchandise comes from the States, and it comes in U.S. flagships. But this is in the ports here in Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico controls that. So overall, Puerto Rico needs to look at, or at least there must be this bureau of the government that should investigate and should research whether these rates are reasonable. It's true, this is private sector, but notwithstanding, it impacts the entire island, because after all, we are surrounded by water, and most of our merchandise either comes by air, which is terribly expensive, or by ship. So expect more of these increases. Until the next capsule, I'll see you. Stay safe.